See what nonsense is in store for today.
Quick point of clarification on the Ukraine aid. Is the United States considering pulling from its own stocks to send to Ukraine without replenishing them? Or is the aid package that we expect to come in the next week or so the final one until Congress gives the United States more authority?
I mean, look, we've been very clear. There's one more final aid that we can give to Ukraine.
If the United States doesn't replenish its own stocks.
Look, what I can tell you is we're doing, one of the reasons why we ask for additional aid is because
Good one.
because we're running out, right? We are running out of aid to support the brave people of Ukraine. And we have what we've been able to do, and you've heard this from the Admiral, we've heard this from the National Security Advisors. We have
the supplemental request to Congress for more funding when it comes to the border, but we also hear all the time from Republicans that it's not just about funding. They want these policy changes. I understand you don't want to negotiate from the podium, but can you tell the American people if there's any immigration policy that this White House is willing to talk about and is working on with Republicans?
So I want to be really careful as negotiations happen. We don't want to do this in the public, right? It does not help the process. And so we want to make sure that those negotiations are happening. Obviously, we're part of those negotiations with the senators. We think it's going in the right direction. We want to make sure that we get to a bipartisan agreement. It's incredibly important. The president understands. He understands that we have to fix this immigration system. It has been broken for decades now. And so we have to do everything that we can to fix that system. And so we're going to have those conversations. And you're right, it's not just about funding, it's also about policy discussions that they're having. And so don't want to get ahead of it. And let's not forget, this is a president that has had these types of negotiation, or been part of these types of, his team certainly has been part of these types of negotiations for some, in different subjects and legislation. So that has happened for the last two almost 3 years, and they've been successful. So we're going to continue to do that and stay steadfast on that.
Just following up on that, is it fair then to say that the White House thinks there will likely need to be some change to the asylum system?
I'm not going to get into specifics from here, but we understand that there needs to be a bipartisan agreement, right? And so when you have a bipartisan agreement, right, both sides have to decide what they are willing to move forward with. I just want to be super mindful and let the team that are doing the negotiations do that themselves. And when they're ready to share what they've decided on, we will certainly talk about that.
You started talking about accomplishments from this last year. You talked about the economy, but in our latest ABC News poll back in November, by a 10-point margin, Americans still said that they would trust Republicans on the economy more. So what is your message to Americans who just think what you've done on the economy is not enough?
Wow.
Look, we understand what Americans have gone through. We do. They went through, and you've heard me say this many times before, and my other colleagues, coming out of the pandemic was a tough time, a difficult time for so many Americans. And we understand that it's going to take some time for them to feel the accomplishments and what we've been able to do in the last 3 years. That's not something I say, that's something that economists have said, right? It's going to take some time. What we can do is what the president did yesterday, right? He went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, spoke directly to the American people, people who live in Wisconsin, people who live in Milwaukee, to talk about what Bidenomics has done. He actually lifted a very important pillar of Bidenomics, which is small business, and there's been 14 million new applications this administration started on small business. That's important. That is investing in America. 14 million jobs created under this president. We have unemployment under 4%. All of those things matter. We see inflation is moderating. That's important. And so, look, we're going to continue to talk about it. We understand that Americans still feel things are unaffordable. That's something that the president said recently, and we're going to do everything that we can to lower costs.
Does the president plan to invite Speaker Johnson for a one-on-one meeting in the Oval Office in the new year?
I don't have anything to lay out on a potential meeting with the speaker.
Is there a reason that hasn't happened yet?
I just don't have anything at this time. I don't have a reasoning for it. I just don't have anything to read out. As you've known, they've spoken before. Our team here, the Office of Legislative Affairs, obviously, and other senior leadership here at the White House have been in touch with his, if not his team, himself. And so that is continuing, certainly continuing conversation. We speak to many members of Congress, whether they're Republican or Democrat. I just don't have anything on the president's schedule.